पापा एक पानी लेके आना थोड़ा उसमें. I can't believe my eyes. This is unfiltered water. The area is next to the toilet. It's not hygienic at all. Well, I don't know what makes him think that he can take water from the bathroom and use it for the kitchen. That's not gonna happen in my kitchen.
But I accumulated this debt because of you.
The debt that you had when you met me, whose fault was that? When I first met Pattiya, I thought she was, rich or something. Like she's a stripper, she's got heaps of money. Then I found out she was 60K in debt. This is a pattern.
Cow urine is considered very religious and pure in my culture.
Did you say cow urine?
Yeah, you heard it right.
Are these people delusional? Now I'm worried it's going to take us longer to start making any money. Might be stuck living with the family forever.
Y'all, between Pattiya's audacity of blaming her 4 years of debt to Dylan, and Sumit's dad using unsanitary, unfiltered water for their brand new cafe, I don't know what to do. I think I've seen enough. We need to talk about it. Let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome back to Nikki Faces Reality. We are here to discuss 90 Day Fiancé the other way. In this recap, I'm only going to discuss Jenny&Sumit and Pattiya&Dylan. I was very intrigued by both of these storylines. Let's start with Jenny&Sumit for a little laugh, shall we? Before we do though, make sure to like, comment, hype, share, all of the things. So it's been a minute since we've seen Jenny&Sumit, okay? So we see them and the family on their way to their little cafe. Y'all, with the equipment in the mix, they can barely squeeze by each other. Like, I get it, it's a family business, but y'all are gonna have to set out some shifts because it's a lot. And did you guys remember how it was Jenny's big idea to have this gorgeous little, cappuccino maker, espresso maker situation? You could tell I don't know about coffee. But the point is, they have this fancy, westernized machine that she wanted. Jenny cannot use it. She has her sister-in-law teaching her how to do it. And she's like, oh, I already forgot. And I'm like, Jenny, what exactly are you bringing to the table? So that's going on, right? But then also, they are all preparing because there's just a huge market in the area where all of the, different restaurants are. And they're like, okay, this is our opportunity to get the word of mouth going about our new cafe. So their plan is, while this event is going, they're going to give out samples. So the family is there to prepare the food. Do you guys remember there was a whole episode about it? When the family went to see the business, they were like, oh my God, it's so small. Also, there's no running water. Remember that everyone is aware that there is no running water good enough to run a restaurant. They even checked out another place that was hidden but had running water. So the plan was have like a barrel or something of water specifically for cooking. Everyone was present for that conversation. Okay? So it is the night before the event and they're there to prep food so that they don't have a big load the next day. Sumit's father, who was part of that conversation, why is he rinsing potatoes and bringing jugs of water from the unfiltered stream that is coming from the bathroom?
पापा एक पानी लेके आना थोड़ा उसमें. स्मेल बड़ा अच्छा स्मेल कर रहा है. ये पानी.
This is the water that people use to, clean themselves up. It is not sanitary even to even have the kitchen utensils in the bathroom. Sumit realizes what the dad was doing, but by then, the mom had already made a crap ton of food.
ये आप यहाँ से पानी ले रहे हो?
अब क्या करें, यही पर है, उस और कोई नलका है नहीं यहाँ पे.
Well, I don't know what makes him think that he can take water from the bathroom and use it for the kitchen. That's not gonna happen in my kitchen. मम्मी ये नहीं चलेगा.
So now they get into this, thing where then Sumit starts like self-deprecating, like, oh, I'm such a failure. And I'm like, Sumit, you did the best with what you could. Your parents are not senile. They were there for the conversation about no running water. In order to get filtered water, you have to go like around the way and there's like a communal space where you can get it. They all have the conversation. We were there. So now they've wasted all of this food because obviously you can't serve it to people. And they're frustrated because food is wasted, labor is wasted. So it's a whole thing.
Maybe this is why people get sick a lot when they eat in India.
The next day we see them, Sumit tells us that they barely slept because they had to make up for lost time. But now they have to, show a brave face for this, opportunity. This is the day where Jenny shows us that she's useless with the machine. I think I got ahead of myself because I just couldn't believe it.
I was really excited to get this coffee machine, and now I'm looking at it like, what the hell? Temper this and steam that. I'm in way over my head here. I'm lost. I mean, what the hell did I get into?
But this is her sole job in the cafe because she can't cook and she can't seem to remember to turn a few knobs, and we don't see her writing anything down. So I was just very frustrated with Jenny, okay?
My fingers are crossed. Everything works out. We'll see. I already forget what to do.
But we are in India and they have their own customs, and because it's a brand new cafe and it's aligning astrologically, so the priest is coming to bless the cafe while throwing a mixture of holy water and cow urine because cows are sacred.
Before the main ceremony begins, the priests come into every individual cafe and bless every shop.
And I am not here to judge another culture. I do have an issue though with urine being splashed when you are actively cooking. The mom was actively preparing the food. And even if the food was closed, right? If the lids were on, I'm sure that the utensils were out. So, you could see how in my Americanized way, I'm like, that's a health violation, and Jenny is clutching her pearls watching this.
Spread some holy water which was mixed with a cow urine. Cow urine is considered very religious and pure in my culture.
Throwing cow urine around while you're cooking? We would never do something like that in America.
But anyway, y'all, we see the moment where the market is happening and we see Sumit's mom and sister-in-law handing out plates of food, being like, oh my God, look, we're the family cafe. Come by tomorrow. We're officially open. Yeah, we're brand new. They're really making sure that word gets out. We are brand new. Make sure to check us out. We do this, we do that. Here's a sample. Jenny is not doing anything. She is standing like the big bad boss, not helping out with this venture, and is instead complaining that they've made zero money, that they've lost so much food because they're just giving it away. And businesses do this all the time. I get it. Some businesses maybe do little bites, but this is one of those things that I would follow Sumit's family's lead because they are from India. They know what is acceptable in their culture. Maybe, I don't know, maybe if you gave them a little bite size how we do here, they would be offended that you would even be giving them scraps, So I think that if anything, it's a good sampler of what your cafe has to offer.
And they are running business for months now. So how will people recognize Family Cafe?
Take it as investment.
Yes, don't worry, it will be all fine too.
Are these people delusional? Am I the only one realizing we didn't make any money today?
But instead, Jenny's just complaining. And I'm like, Jenny, not only did you do nothing, this was their labor. They are the ones that are actively on their feet, moving around doing this. Why are you complaining? And she expresses that she's angry because she's like, we didn't make any money. And how am I ever going to leave their house if we don't make enough money to do so?
Now I'm worried it's going to take us longer to start making any money. And we might be stuck living with the family forever.
I get Jenny's frustrations from my American lens, but she also insisted on moving to India. If you are going to move to India, you're going to have to move how they move. They're not gonna change their culture, their traditions for you. It's one thing for the immediate family, to make exceptions to welcome you as Sumit's wife. But in terms of like customs and like what's acceptable in the greater society, like they're not going to change it for you. So I would follow their lead. But she's just busy complaining, busy doing nothing. And I just know that this is going to be an ongoing thing because Sumit also does not want to leave his parents' house. He is very comfortable there. So yeah, that was it for them this episode. Let's move on to Pattiya and Dylan. So I was really hard on Dylan. I was. And I saw that he was in my comments. Hi, Dylan. I was very hard on Dylan because I don't like when people micromanage. It's one thing for you to live a very disciplined life, right? And I absolutely get wanting someone that's compatible in that way. And I also hear him when he talks about like, her financial lack of discipline is going to affect me. I completely agree with those things, but she has been that way, it sounds like, the entirety of your relationship, and you've been with her for 12 years. So if you know that that's not acceptable for you, and you know that you can't give her what she wants, and she wants it anyway while not meeting your standard, why be together? Because at that point, you are fully wasting her time, is how I feel. But I definitely empathized with him a little more in this episode and also saw the way that Pattiya isn't taking any accountability, and I can't root for that. Miss Thing is taking zero accountability. So let's walk through the segment, okay? So they're at this furniture store because, he renovated this beautiful place for them, but now it's time to furnish it. So they're at this place, they're looking at couches. Miss Thing has expensive taste, and he's like, we could probably get one that's more affordable and then use the rest of the money toward your debt, which he doesn't have to do. But I thought that that was very kind, very forward thinking. Like, we can actually make our money go further. And she just keeps kind of like, trying to dodge any conversation about money. And I'm sure, money is complicated, and I can understand with her, like, feeling being micromanaged and being judged. But there's clearly a transparency issue here. And Dylan deserves to have transparency if he's going to be taking care of you. So he's like, be honest, like, what is the debt right now? She says 20K. She's maxed out 5 cards.
What's the actual number?
20.
20. So like how many credit cards in total have you maxed out?
5.
People have debts for many reasons. There are people out here that using credit cards is the only way that they can feed their families, the only way that they can pay a light bill. There are many reasons why people rack up some debt, okay? According to Dylan, this debt is because she has a shopping problem. And that is not a necessity, okay? That is a problem. And still, I was empathetic. I'm like, maybe she's having a hoarding issue. Maybe she's having a depressive episode and like she's being manic and like that is what she wants to do. She wants to spend. When I am sad, I also spend. But I do it with my own money because I need to see it leaving me so it can hurt so that I can stop. You know what I mean? So I get that. And I was still giving her grace until she says, well, this debt is your fault. I wouldn't have this if it wasn't because of you. And this is where it goes downhill.
I had no debt when we went to Thailand, and then when I came back, I accumulated the debt again because I had to start all over. This is your fault. I had no debt when I moved to Thailand with you. I have a lot of resentment regarding my financial situation because I sacrificed a lot for Dylan.
Dylan, you'll be happy that I can see your side now, okay? Immediately when she was like, it's your fault, I was like, oof, that is a choice to say, right? But her train of thought is, well, when you told me to move to Thailand with you, I had to get rid of everything. And when we broke up, I had to come back and start over. And we recall she let us know that early on. However, that was 4 years ago. I get that you start over and like you maybe have to, start over with rent and start over with a bed and things like that. But you can still start over within your means. You don't start over and immediately just jump into a mansion, like if that's not what you can afford. You don't need all the furniture at once. That's not what starting over has to be. So to blame those expenses on him is crazy. She had a massive debt before she left to Thailand. They got rid of it, and then she accumulated this debt afterwards. So she feels like she's being judged. She feels like, it's his fault. Like she wouldn't have been in that position to spend so much money if it wasn't because he broke up with her or whatever happened, But I'm like, girl, you guys were broken up and you were separate. You made those spending choices. That is not Dylan's fault. Dylan is guilty of maybe breaking your heart, but he didn't say you have to buy all of this crap at once. I think that is insane, and it's insane that she doesn't back down. And it actually gets worse because she says, well, if you just sell one of your homes, like we can get rid of the debt.
I've learned from my mistakes. That's why I'm asking you to sell that house to help me with this debt.
And I thought about it a few ways. First of all, I was like, oof, that is entitled. Sure, he has plenty of property. Sure, it would be an easy fix since it bothers him so much. That's what she says. Since it bothers you so much. And I'm sure that in her mind, she's like, we've been together for 12 years dealing with each other. Like, I'm worth the investment. I get all of that, but I empathize with Dylan in that this is a pattern of yours.
I'm scared that if I do sell one of my properties, that there's going to be something else and something else and something else.
And if he were to just do a quick fix and wipe it away, who's to say that she's not going to rack up another 20K? Because I do feel like when something bad happens, or like when you make a mistake, the only way you know not to make it again is if you have to go through the lessons and the labor to rectify it, to know what that feels like and be like, oh, I never want to go through this where I'm making payments for like 5 years to pay this off. You know what I mean? But if someone just wipes it away, you're like, oh, it didn't affect me. And you could easily rack it up again. I like that he's willing to help in the ways that he can, but to expect him to just get rid of the debt altogether, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. But then if they're trying to build a life together and her debt may like pull them down, I would have a contract with her. Like if he does decide that he wants to marry her, maybe have that be part of like the prenup.
It just feels like she's not taking any accountability for her spending habits. When I first met Pattiya, I thought she was, rich or something. I thought, she's a stripper, she's got heaps of money. But then I found out she was 60K in debt. I love Pattiya and I want to be with her, but I don't want to have to be always cleaning up her mess.
I just think that money things can get really complicated. And as uncomfortable as they are, you really do have to be explicit and talk about it, like what your expectations are, what your limits are. But I don't think that it is right for her to blame this debt on him. Also, it's not like she's had this debt rack up for 4 years and she's been helpless. She's been actively working, and clearly clearing this debt has not been the priority.
It's a chronic addiction. It's detrimental, love. It's got to stop. And it's serious. You brought me to tears with it, because it's just like, when is this woman going to stop spending?
The priority has been shopping. And Dylan mentions that as of recent, she had an issue paying her rent.
There's been many months where you have not had the money for rent, and I've had to pay it for you.
What are you talking about? That's because you put me in that place.
You've got a very deluded view of what has and hasn't happened.
So clearly, this isn't a problem that she's, beyond. She's not past it like she wants us to believe. I think that it's embarrassing for him to highlight this. And of course it's embarrassing to feel like you're falling short. I can empathize with how embarrassing it can be, but at this point, like, you got to pick yourself up and you got to fix it. And he's letting her know, this is one of the things that is really stopping me from like moving forward. Like, you want a ring so bad, I don't feel comfortable tying myself legally. And she's like, well, if he If this is such a big problem, he can get rid of it, because if he doesn't give me the ring, I'm out. I think that they're both not being honest with each other. With the defensiveness that she's giving, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more debt than 20K. And while I do believe that this is an issue, a blocker for Dylan, I think that after 12 years, you would know if you want to be with someone. And I think that there are more things that you probably are not a fan of, but this is the more problematic factor that's keeping you away. But yeah, you guys, I was like, how have these two made it 12 years? Like, it's so complicated, and just like their outlook on life and what they value seems to be so different thus far, that I'm like, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how their story unravels, for the good, for the bad. I obviously wish them the best, but I don't really know. I don't really know how this is gonna go. But yeah, you guys, that was it for my recap. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.